the black sheep of your family, come closer. Come here. This is for you. Alright, guys. So, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, and that's how to cope as the black sheep in your family, right? So, some people just feel like they are the black sheep, while some people are tagged the black sheep probably because they are rebellious, they don't do what other people in the family do, and a whole lot of others. And most times people will feel like the black sheep. They tend to feel like they are alone, they are not being heard, nobody understands what they feel, nobody understands how, just understand all everything about them, and that's why things are just going south. People don't believe them, especially family members who are supposed to be close to them, right? So all these things comes with emotional, traumas and a whole lot of things. And that's why we're having this video today, to tell you you're not alone. A lot of other people, go through these things, and you're being heard, you're being seen, and that's why we're here to discuss it. So we're going to explore why people are being tagged black sheep, what they did that resulted, that the factors that cause it, and how to cope if you're struggling with this feeling. Alright. So if you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Amarachi and I'm the host of this channel. On here we talk about different topics that are relevant to young adults. So if you're someone that likes to see life from a different perspective, you like to crack life codes, make this home for you, right? So without much, further ado, let's hop right into what we have for today. Alright. Talking about black sheep, let's first of all understand what it means to be a black sheep. So why do they call people black sheep? Why? When it comes to family context, a black sheep is someone who probably has opposing beliefs, right? Opposing beliefs, opposing interests to the family norms, to the family belief, the family cultures. So for example, a family might be conservative, right? But a child in that family might not be, and it will result in like clash, because the parents are insisting my family, my rules, and the person is insisting my life, my rules, and all these things tend to cause controversy. So now we've known what a black sheep is. You can now know where to place yourself. Are you really a black sheep? Now also I would like to note this point. Or no, let's just start it this way. Why are people called black sheep? Why? So one major reason why, or one major factor that leads to people being called a black sheep is a lot of people are being misunderstood, right? So when you are different from the norm, people tend to misunderstand you. And giving our parents also, like a lot of parents, especially African parents, and now I know that this extends, like this is a global phenomenon, this is a global thing, right? But then again, I'm African, I'm Nigerian, so I'm going to be using the environment I relate with the most. But nevertheless, relate it to yourself and the environment you find yourself. Trust me, they all align. I'm just trying to give an example. So probably in your family, or in a family, right? Let me use the general or a common thing in African families. Maybe your parents want all their kids to be, science inclined. They want their kids to be doctors, engineers, this one, that one, gynecologist, and the child is coming to say, I want to study music. I want to be an artist. I want to be an actress. And I know Indian homes also have this stuff I'm discussing, these scenarios a lot too. And so when this child be like, I want to do music, every other person is in science and you're in art. And you're in art, you're not doing law. What you're doing is music, theater art, Ibu's house, right? So all those things now, and because before there's now this hassle. Parents are, you must do this, the child is, I must do this. And now for most of the children, their parents don't understand that probably they don't have the mental capacity to carry the science, or it's not just their passion, it's not just what they love to do, right? So for them to pass across the message, I can't do what you want me to do, I have to do what works for me best. They become rebellious. When the family say A, they say B, so they tend to go against everything, even if it's something they can do that goes on in the family. So they tend to go against, certain things, that rules in the house. So the parents will know, oh, I have control over what I want to do for myself. I hope that makes sense. So when a lot of times people misunderstand um themselves, and it leads to being called a black sheep. And now also this stems from, when people are not able to communicate effectively, right? So it's not just communication on the part of the black sheep in quotes, but it's communication, effective communication on the part of both the individual who is tagged a black sheep and the family. What is effective communication? I'm sure a lot of you must have heard before now what effective communication is, but I'm just going to explain it again in simple terms. Is, the ability to communicate, pass across a message, and that message you pass across is being not only heard but understood. So the ability to clearly pass a message, and the ability for that message to be understood. So once you pass a message clearly and it is being understood, you have communicated effectively, right? So this is what also leads to the problem. Now, when a lot of people, some people don't know how to express themselves, but then again, you can't blame them. Some parents are just so uptight, especially with some uncles and aunties who like to nitpick and, poke nose in what don't concern them. And you see in their families, they don't even have the upper hand. They don't have the say in their family, but they are coming to insist to stand on family rules and values in your own home. I don't know if you get that. So all these things, result in that misunderstanding, right? So some people don't know how to tell their dad or their mom or the family, I want to study music. I have a passion for music. I'm able to get inspiration. I want to impact life via music, via my words. I want to touch souls via my words. I want to speak life into people via my songs, right? So it's a way of impacting life. But no, they don't know how to explain it that way. And now, family or parents, remember, I'm using this as a case study. This might not be the case with you, but I'm trying to use it as a case study because it's a general, kind of scenario. Now, the family might not want to understand that you must not be a doctor for you to be successful, right? You must not be a, would I say, does banking count? Does a bank, being a bank account? You mustn't be an engineer. You mustn't be a pilot. You must, all these professional courses per se, you must not be into this field for you to be tagged successful in life. People's paths differ, right? So they just want to be able to brag. And then again, you find out that most of our parents want to live their life through us. I don't know. So if you're a parent and you are probably once a black sheep, probably you've not seen this light or this part of it, that part of the reason why maybe you had that, that altercation with your family, that fight with your family, is because your parents are wanting you to, live your life, like live the life they want to live. I don't know if that makes sense. Well, so now if you're a parent, you have to intentionally work not to be that kind of parent. Understand what it is. Set the standard of communication in your home. So if you're not a parent and you're a single person, you're not married, and you're tagged the black sheep of your family. sorry. So, but then I would want to also make this point before I continue every other thing I'm going to say. The word black sheep is a pseudo word. It does not exist in reality. Yes, and that's my belief. Quote me anywhere. It does not exist in reality, and that's because, most times it's just because people are different. They have different personalities. They have different beliefs. They are just unique in their own way. So what makes them the black sheep, right? In literal sense, a black sheep is a sheep that is black. So why then call a human who is not black, just following a different path? Now, remember, you might be like, oh, they are rebellious, they are this. Something pushed them into being rebellious. They did not just wake up one morning and decide to be rebellious. People become rebellious because they are not being heard, they are not being understood, and there is no better way to explain themselves. So, their emotions are now all over the place, and the only way to pass across their message and the only way to have their way is, become rebellious. So you can't blame them, right? So like I said, Black sheep is a studio word. It does not exist. People are just different in their own way. They are just being unique. So don't see yourself as a black sheep. If people call you or your family tag you a black sheep, just see yourself as somebody who is making a difference, right? Who is setting like a different path, who is courageous enough to follow a different path. Now that being said, let's talk about, now that we've understood the factors or things that lead to, they've taken the light. So one, now that we've understood the factors or things that lead to people calling the black being called black sheep, which is one, being misunderstood, two, when people are able to communicate themselves effectively and leads to altercations, then yeah, those two, and three, majorly because people are unique and they take their own unique pattern. It's not acceptable because it does not conform to the norms of a family. Now that we've understood this, let's talk about how to accept and embrace your uniqueness. First things first, you have to make sure that you are on a moral ground, right? You have to make sure you're doing the right thing. And so even in your rebellion as a black sheep in quotes, permit me to say that, as a black sheep in quotes, even in your rebellion, make sure you're not taking decisions, make sure you're not doing things that will put you in a tight spot or things you would regret later. Make sure you're not doing that, right? So that being said, embrace your individuality. What makes you different from others? Why do you love yourself? So for some families, they like children who are always composed. Whenever they're outside, they're just quiet. They're introvert. They like introvert, and if I let me use that word, they like introverted kids, right? And people will say yes to everything they want. That part, I can't forget that part. And they want kids that say yes to everything they want. But then you, who is being called the black sheep, you like to distinguish right from wrong. You like to be yourself. You like to work with what you feel align with you as a person. No, the body, like, thank God. So they align with you as a person, right? So embrace the fact that you're not like the norms, right? You're not like the norms, and these norms in question we are talking about, they are subjective. So it depends on who. The rules and the standard we are talking about, the cultures, the beliefs, they are being set by people, right? And this thing can change. Just make sure that those basic principles are not met, and if for any reason there should be compromise, let's still make sure that it's still standing on the grounds of morality. So once those your beliefs and everything is moral, what are we talking about, right? So I think this is not just a conversation for people who are called black sheep. This should be a conversation for both families, where they sit down and get to understand the reason why these people act the way they do. It's because they're not being heard. Okay, how do we now hear them? How do we communicate effectively? Okay, what do you want? This is what I want. Are you as a parent also, or you as a family member of someone who have a black sheep, should be able to tell that, okay, this person must not necessarily act the way I am doing. So far, the person is not putting him or herself in danger. The person must not conform to, societal beliefs and norms, right? The person must not conform to what we insist on the family. So far, the person is happy. So far, the person is okay. The person is not, making unstable decisions, and all those kind of things. So we define normal. Yes, like I said, the norms in question is normal norms. When they say this is not our normal belief, this is not our norm in this family, this is not all these things are subjective. Now, because these things are rules or standards set by people, they are open to change. So you can't keep one standard for a long time. There should be room for change for all these things. When you guys come back, deliberate and validate these changes, right? So now once you've accepted your uniqueness, you've redefined your norms, the next thing you should do is acknowledge your feelings, guys. By the time, see, there's a lot of emotional trauma. In fact, there's a lot of emotional battle going on in the minds of people that are being tagged as black sheep. It's not easy. It affects their mental health, it affects their physical health, it affects their confidence. They don't believe in themselves, they don't trust themselves, And now, as someone who is a family member of a so-called black sheep, you're busy putting this pressure, and tomorrow you see somebody is where this person committed suicide, or you hear tomorrow this person is going no contact, and you're like, the person is stubborn, the person doesn't want to listen. You ain't question, have you sat down to listen to what the person wants, right? What is it the person wants? Why is this person at? If you have sat down to listen, I'm not sure the person will go down that path of, loneliness and sadness, rejection, because they tend to, because they are not heard, everybody's turning against them, everything they do is wrong in people, in everybody's eye. So they tend to feel lonely, they tend to feel sad, and before you know it, they go out to find solace, and some of them now fall into the wrong hands and the wrong company, and that's when it now looks like what the family projected or what the family has been saying is true. It's not necessarily true. So just it might just be that the person going out to find solace met the wrong set of people, right? So that does not mean because the person did not or does not follow the family norms, the person is going to end up wrong. That's not true. In fact, that's false in all of its entirety. So now, as someone with tagged a black sheep, acknowledge your feeling. I like telling people, be realistic. You feel sad? Yes, I feel sad. I feel lonely. Don't be in denial. The worst thing you can do to yourself is to deny it. Don't be in denial. Accept it. Yes, I feel lonely. Yes, I feel sad. Right? I feel sad. I feel lonely. I'm losing my confidence. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm confused. I want to be loved. Acknowledge all these feelings. You are human, right? You are human. You're not a god. Acknowledge them. The moment you acknowledge these feelings, right? One thing that happens is you become clear-headed. Now, you've acknowledged these feelings. You've acknowledged that this is what you want, the love you want, the understanding you want. You're not getting them, and that's why you feel this way. You feel. Once you acknowledge these feelings, next thing is be practice self-compassion, right? Be compassionate, be soft on yourself. Don't go hard, don't go. See, like I said, when probably you're rushing out or you're being rebellion, if you make wrong decisions, you will be the one to feel the pain. The family might just take the shame, but who feels the actual pain and regret is you. After a while, they get over it. You, the black sheep, people to carry the pain. You feel the pain, you feel everything that comes with it. And I'm not sure you want to live a life of regrets, right? So be soft on yourself. When you're being rebellious, for example, just make sure you're making decisions that you will not regret later. Be objective. Don't make decisions with your emotion. Think with your brain. As simple as it might sound, if you're intentional about it, it's going to be easier said than done. Now, after this, and the next thing you should do is establish healthy boundaries. Now, sometimes when there's always, okay, in fact, there's always, a fight between the black sheep and the family. Now, it is important for you to set boundaries. Now, set boundaries in the sense that it's not every time you banter with them, with family, right? Sometimes know when to step back, know when to say I am not doing this today. So no matter what you're doing, build your emotional intelligence, right? Work on your emotional intelligence. Read as much as you can. Read about techniques, how to do it. It's not a one day something, it's a process. So that you read about it and you don't get it on the first trial, it's fine. But work on it, right? If possible, leave the environment you want. Now, also know when to tell people I'm not okay with this, right? Or when you know that, okay, this is not what I am wanting, this is not what I want for myself, know when to leave. So for some family are so toxic that you have to leave the family, you have to go somewhere. Now you might be like, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. Now you don't have money, you don't have this, you don't have that, and you're staying at home, you're losing yourself, and tomorrow you're being pushed to commit suicide. What happens? Your chapter ends, life continues. But then, if where you are is very toxic, you have to take the risk, either remain in the toxicity or go out and find your way to survive and build your own standard for yourself. Build a family standard for yourself also. So it's just it's up to you. But then I'm going to reiterate this point. Make sure you know when to step back. Now, once you know when to step back, let's talk about finding solace or finding a support system. Now, there's this thing I like to say, and that's the fact that family is not always people related to you by blood ties, right? So you can have family who are blood relations and you can have family who are not. If within your family there is nobody you feel like you can trust, you can relate with, right? Look for someone outside, look for a community to identify with. People that have like interests as you do, people that have same thought process as you, people that have same interest. See, it will save a lot of stress because you will be on the same page. Yes, there will be differences, but you'll be on the same page. You don't have to start explaining a lot of things to people before you say. You see yourselves like completing each other's sentences and thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense. So try to figure out a community of people that have like minds like you. So it's very easy. This kind of thing is very easy. TikTok, social media algorithms help with this kind of thing, and that's why I said that is because sometimes if a catches your fancy, right? So for example, fashion catches your fancy, and you're always looking up for fashion related topics. Automatically, you're going to be getting prompts, right? Prompts about fashion related channels and stuff like that. So leverage this platform, leverage Twitter. I know Twitter can be toxic sometimes. Twitter X the Elon Musk X platform, right? It can be toxic because of a lot of negativity, violence, and everything. But pick what you want when you go on there. Look for people that have the same interest as you. Follow them, right? There's this. There's this person I follow on Twitter, Fola Aina. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly, right? Now, why I follow him is because I'm someone who likes words of affirmation, right? And so his posts are like words of affirmation to me. I can just be using my phone and it pops up, and most times it's coming up when probably I'm down, I'm doing this, and the next post I'm saying the prompt is something that is giving me motivation and it's telling me don't stay down, pick up all those kind of things. So people that are mentors, probably mentors, teammates. Also look for, when I say look for community, volunteer for such communities. All these things, it will not bring you, before you know it, you gradually build a circle of people of like mind, and within that circle you would find true people. And also when you know building these relationships, don't just trust people at once, right? When you get to know somebody, while you are being open-minded, still be reserved. Look at that person, observe the person for a while before putting all your trust on that person. People change though, so you might trust somebody and tomorrow the person's change. It changes, it's not your fault, but it's fine. But make sure that before trust any person wholly, first of all, commit to any form of friendship. You observe the person, observe what kind of interest does this person have. Is this person pretending? Look for the basic principles that makes up the person's being. Now, once we've talked about finding a support system, learn to express yourself effectively. Learn to communicate effectively. See, read books. Read books. I've said this thing before. Read books. Learn to communicate effectively. Learn about techniques on how to communicate. Like for me, there is something I've learned and I've been practicing. I'm not there yet. I'm a work in progress, but it has helped me. So most times now, I know it works in formal setting, but you can apply it even in your normal day-to-day life, right? So when somebody is talking, probably just keep quiet. Don't just hear, listen, right? Don't just hear, listen, and listen to understand. When somebody is saying something and the person is finished saying, don't just jump into I want to do this. This is not what I'm saying. I like to ask, so if I got you clear, you are saying I should do this, do this, do this. Now you're trying to tell the person this is what I understood from what you're saying, but you're saying it in a calm manner. And now the person will tell you yes or no, or you're somehow right, this is what I mean. And before you know it, you've explained yourself very well. And now that does not mean that the person will finally come into terms with you. But one thing is sure, the person has understood your stance. Now, once person understands your stance, next thing is to convince the person, right? Or convince the family. You can look for the person who is easier to penetrate in the family. Maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe your sibling whom your parents listen to. Just reach out to the person. Make sure that there is this clear understanding. This person understand, okay, this thing you're saying, this is what I understood from the person. Say, okay, is this what you're saying? You say no, this is it. Before you know it, you iron things out. The next thing, you find a way to convince them. And I think that would help. Instead of just once they're saying something, you are already ready to, you're defensive already, ready to give it back. Chill. It's telling on you mentally, physically, biologically. So calm down. Now once you learn how to communicate, effectively, the next thing you should do is let's not forget, don't expect immediate understanding. Like I said, it's a work, it's like a work in progress. So that you expect to do, they don't get, explain again, but sometimes, like I said, state it clear. I believe if you follow like the way I've explained it or the way I do it, like I just explained, it's going to be easier for you. Next, focus on self growth, guys. You are alone. All right, as easy as you said, it tells so much emotionally. It's not easy to feel alone emotionally, right? But then again, if you're alone, you wouldn't lose anything investing in yourself. Build yourself. When you build yourself, you learn new skills, read books, be versatile in your knowledge. Now, those doubts they have about you, time will prove them wrong. Time will prove you not to be right or wrong, but time will prove that you know what you are doing, and it was just a misunderstanding. Do you get? So work on yourself. That is the biggest slap or face slap to give. That's the biggest clap back you can give to people who refer to you as a black sheep. Invest in yourself, right? Then and also work on building your confidence. Like I said, read books. I keep saying this, read books is going to help you. If you're not someone that likes to read books, just browse online how to build my confidence. There are blogs, there are articles that would help you work on that. And these days there are also videos, YouTube videos, TikTok videos that helps you with that. So probably over time I'm going to talk about how to build your confidence. I don't know yet, but we're going to see if we're going to do that later. So that's that for focusing on self growth. Now the next thing is reframe the word black sheep. Don't accept to be called a black sheep. Now I used black sheep. When I said this video, I said if you're a black sheep, come closer, right? And now I'm telling you that now that you've come closer, I'm telling you now, tell yourself, talk to yourself, call your name, tell yourself, I am not a black sheep. Yes, you're not how will I put it? You're not the devil of the family, you're not the taint of the family, you're not the stain on the family, right? You just chose to be different, you just chose to tread a different path, right? You're a work in progress, you're trying to discover yourself, and you're seeing that what you're doing is not in line with what they are doing, and it's not wrong, it's not totally wrong. Just make sure you're on the right path, like I always say and I've been saying, right? So instead of calling yourself a black sheep, how about you call yourself a dear angel? Mm-hmm. Because it takes courage to go out of the norms. It takes courage to do what others don't want to do but can't do. Right? It takes courage, and angels bring light. At the end of the day, in most situations, you see people who are being called the black sheep end up becoming the stone the family lean on, right? Or end up become the pillar of the home somehow. So see yourself as someone who will bring light. They might not understand it now. It's a process. With time, they would understand. So instead of calling yourself a black sheep, why don't you call yourself a dear angel? Yes, you dare to do what people others don't do. And in that your daring, you bring light to your family. They will not understand it, but with time they will, right? So just have this change of mindset. I think if you start thinking this way, it will give you a different perspective to things. Also, why don't you celebrate your independence? You've probably gone no contact with your family or all this stuff, and now that you've gone no contact, you're always dwelling on the fact that, oh, I'm not talking to my family, my parents hurt me, my siblings hurt me, this person hurt me, that person hurt me. Does it change anything? No. Does it make any difference? No. So why dwell on it? Instead, celebrate that independence, that freedom, and also use the opportunity. Now, nobody's telling you do, don't do. You're now the decision maker of yourself, right? You're not the decision maker of your life. So take the opportunity. Go on an adventure. Go on an adventure in your life. So you might not have the money, but what I mean is explore different parts of you, explore different areas of your interest. That's what I'm trying to say. So now that we've talked to this stage, right? How do you cope with criticism? That's another thing. Because a major factor that makes everything to escalate in this most of these situations is when most of us lack emotional intelligence. We lack emotional control. We don't know how to control our emotions, right? So now most times they are criticizing you. They don't even want to hear why did you do what you did. Why did you decide to take this path? The only you're ashamed to us. You are frustrating us. You're making people to laugh at us. They're not even wanting to hear you. You're a pain in the ass. You are this. You are that. All these things are criticisms to what you do. So when you do it, they'll be like, "Why did you do this? You're supposed to do this." We know you will always be like this. Nothing good can come out of you. All these things are criticisms. But most of the times, they are negative criticisms. So how do you handle this? How do you cope with this? I cannot emphasize enough. Learn about techniques, learn about communication techniques, learn about emotional control techniques, learn about emotional intelligence. When you're able to learn these three things, right, or these two things, emotional intelligence, right, and communication, effective communication, trust me, everything will turn around for you. Everything will turn around for you. So, how to cope with criticism? First of all, learn about these two things, especially the emotional intelligence part, because we're talking of criticism, obviously. So once you learn about it in these techniques, you will learn. For some of them, it can be stepping back, like we mentioned earlier. You don't have to engage always, right? So learn emotional intelligence. Then also, you must not explain. Don't always feel the need to explain to them. Sometimes when they say a lot of things, just keep quiet and they finish. Say thank you and go your way, or keep quiet and go your way. You must not explain to them. After all, when you explain them, what's the guarantee that they would understand, right? So you must not explain. Now, see, don't confuse these things. Express yourself very well. Communicate your feelings very well. But no, that does not mean you must explain yourself in every situation. Choose when to explain yourself and when not to explain yourself. Now, then again, this falls under emotional intelligence. So, which means two major skills you're supposed to learn after this whole thing is effective communication skills, emotional intelligence, then three, I think, how to build your confidence, right? So that being said, we're almost done with this, session. The last on the list is seeking professional help, right? Talk to a therapist, right? Look for someone who is licensed, a licensed therapist. Talk to them. They are not people who are close to you. There is this confidential part of their work ethics, right? And if you try the first therapist, it's not working. Try another person. The therapists are also human, so there might be a little bit of bias, right? You can't blame them, but seek professional help, especially when you know it's affecting your mental health. Please seek professional help. Go for therapy, go for counseling. I'm not a licensed counselor, right? But then if you feel the need of, wanting someone to communicate to, just a place like to clear your head, I think you can, go online, search. There are different platforms. Hey, I've forgotten. There are different therapy platforms. It depends on what you want. If you just want to listen, if you want someone to give you advice, whatever it is you want, right? Go on there. You should be able to see one or two, therapy platform softwares that you can sign up on, or you go to like an office, right? A counselor in person and you discuss. So it just depends on you, but please seek professional help. If you know that you are you're already going mental, like you are getting beyond control, please seek help. So at this point, we are done with the video for today. We are done with the session for today. I hope this bring light to your path. I hope this kind of illuminates and bring clarity to what you're supposed to do. This brings light to your dark parts, probably the dark area of your life that this whole black sheep thing has kept you. And now I'm going to change what I refer to you. You are no longer black sheep, but dear angels. So all the dear angels on this platform, all the dear angels watching this, I hope this blesses you. If you know someone who you feel like is also a dear angel like you, please share this video to them. And at this point, don't forget to like the video, also subscribe so you can get more, more life cracking quotes like this, and we keep the community growing. All right, so that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.